Hello, everybody, and welcome back to General Geekery. I'm Ryan, and with me, as always, is JD.
Hello.
And today we've got a special guest with us, a longtime friend and fellow customizer. We've known him probably just about as long as we've known each other, and that's Sean.
And my fellow D&D player.
Oh, hey, yeah, almost forgot about that.
Yeah.
Hey, did you ever use that custom that I sent you for your D&D?
Oh yeah, you mean the crocodile? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, we don't use them in this campaign because, we do it over Zoom. So we don't need miniatures. That doesn't stop Sean from making customs of people's characters, though, right, Sean?
Right.
Yeah, he made his own character, and he's making other people's characters too.
Yeah.
Yeah, eventually I might get around to making my own character. If not, well, I'll probably ask you to do that. So
Sounds good. I'll be up for it.
So what is your character, JD?
I play a halfling warlock named Jed.
Jed?
Jed. Yep. It's a West Wing reference. Don't ask.
Okay, I figured it was Beverly Hillbillies, but
No.
No. All right. Duly noted.
No.
He's not a mountaineer that can't barely keep his family fed.
No,
well,
and
you can probably keep the family fed.
Yeah. So, all right. As usual, we have no idea what we're going to talk about, but it's probably going to involve customizing, since that's
probably. I have a feeling. And maybe Star Wars. So
that's a hot topic recently, for sure.
Huh. Gee, I can't imagine why.
Has there been any Star Wars news in the past couple of days?
No, but we're all nerds, so I'm sure we can.
If I missed anything.
I don't think so.
Right.
Lucasfilm still seems to have no idea what the fuck they're doing with the future of the movie, so I guess they'll figure it out.
I don't think anybody knows what anybody's doing with movies right now. With the movie theater goes down.
No. And if the movie theaters do open back up anytime soon, well, I don't know if there's going to be any movies to watch because everything's been rescheduled or pushed back or taken out to put on on-demand services. So
yeah,
but
well, I think once the movie theaters open, a lot of those movies they'll just fast track them. They're already done. And they're all digital. All they have to do is send the files.
Yeah, that's true. I don't want to see movies like Black Widow. I know they already pushed it back to November because I think they moved it into the slot where the Eternals, the Externals, whatever Marvel's next cosmic adventure is. I think they already moved it into the release date that was supposed to have, and that got pushed back until next year. But even though I don't know anything about that team, including can't remember the name of it, I don't care. I want to.
It's the Eternals.
It's the Eternals.
All right. Yeah, I knew it was one or the other. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just curious what they're gonna do with it because they're introducing Black Knight and they're bringing Monica Rambeau as a grown-up over from Captain Marvel into it. So yeah, both of those are cases for me to want to watch it, having absolutely no idea what the hell any of the rest of it's about. So, but if Marvel puts it out, I'm gonna see it. So, yeah, because Black Widow was supposed to be out in May. I know they pushed it back to that date, but if they open the movie theaters back up, like Sean said, they're digital. Just fucking come up with a new release date for it and put it out already.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they haven't started streaming some of this stuff to their own, like to Disney Plus or something like that, or come up with another streaming service for first-run movies.
But there were several first-run movies that went streaming through Amazon and I think picked up a couple.
The only one I know right off the top of my head is the Trolls movie went straight to video or straight to.
And that made so much money from streaming rentals that they figure it just about matched whatever the box office would have been had they opened it at the movie theater.
Which pissed off the movie theater chains because they didn't get their cut.
Yeah.
But fuck them. So I have no sympathy because it isn't like they're not going to get movies back in that are going to make more money later. And well, I remember, I think it was AMC. They got so pissed off, they said that AMC would no longer be displaying Universal movies, but I know they're going to change their tune when like Jurassic World 3 and Fast and the Furious 14 come out.
Well, I think he's the one that said that they might not be reopening to begin with. So that's kind of a pretty hollow threat, in my opinion.
Yeah, that is a good point. There is an AMC theater here. It's not in this city. I'd have to drive to it, which I wouldn't, because I was there one time to see a movie that was awful, and I walked out on it because the theater was kind of shitty. So, and the movie was shitty. So, it was the live-action Dragon Ball movie. Yeah, that was garbage. So, and I'm not biased because I've never seen the anime. I just know that movie was a disaster.
Yeah,
I feel bad for our movie theaters here because we have two big bow tie cinemas here, and they both just renovated into the lounge chairs and full bar and bring food to your seat setup. And then 2 months after they finished their renovations, this happened, and they had to shut down.
Yeah, that sucks.
Bars in a movie theater. Okay, see, that's the difference.
It was awesome.
That's the difference between the mega franchise theaters and like locally owned specialty theaters, because I have never personally been into a movie theater that had alcohol sales of any kind.
Well, this is new here. They just started it, and the bar was really nice. And believe it or not, we went in, my wife and I, thinking the prices were going to be higher than local bars, and they were actually cheaper.
Really?
The alcohol prices and the drink prices were cheaper than the bars in the surrounding area.
Oh, I'm shocked by that, all right, because, I mean, if you go order a pop at the movie theater, the pop is almost as much as the damn ticket was.
Right.
And it's inevitable that I order without ice, and they put ice in it, and I have to say, no, I have to hand it back and say, no, without ice. Stop being cheap bastards. So.
See, I don't mind the ice. I have them do ice, half Coke, and then half seltzer water.
Well, I keep the ice out of it just to get my money's worth, because otherwise they'll fill that bitch up 3/4 of the way with ice and let the pop fill in the rest of it. Fuck that.
That's true. But yeah, I'm kind of torn. I won't, spending a lot of time overseas, I don't get to see a lot of the movies anyways, first run in the theater, so I kind of won't miss it if that's what happens. But then again, when I am home, it's kind of a special thing for my wife and I to go to a movie together, so that will suck if that evaporates.
I mean, that's the only date my wife and I really get to go on are movies.
Yeah, and see, my wife's cousin, they have a kid. How old's your kid now, Sean?
5.5.
5.5. Jesus, he's almost as old as Harley is, and so yeah, that's all. We babysit for them, and that's their date night, is to go to the movies.
Well, sometimes I'll take my kids to go see a movie if there's one. Okay, specifically, if Blake agrees to go, because I can't really talk him into it, because then he won't sit still deliberately. And if there's one or sometimes if there's one that just my daughter wants to go see, we'll go see it. Like we always go see the Star Wars movies and such, and we thought some of the Marvel movies. I think the last movie I took them to see was Sonic, and I was just happy that was watchable, because from the trailer I really thought it wasn't going to be.
I didn't expect it to be either. I'm surprised to hear you say that, honestly.
Well, if it wasn't for the kids wanting to go see it, not only do I not think I would have seen it in the theater, I don't think I would have seen it ever, But
I didn't even know it was out, honestly.
well, considering I walked out of there and I said, "Wow, that didn't suck at all," I was happy because sometimes video game movies are, well, they're terrible. So.
Yeah.
Well, they were originally, but then they went back and redid all the CG because of the fans complaining that Sonic looked horrifying.
See, and I saw something
Yeah.
that they did that on purpose. That they intentionally did that shitty one just so to rile fans up to get the no there is no such thing as bad publicity. And
That's a possibility.
That's true.
yeah, definitely.
So
I don't know.
Well, but even if they had stuck with the original design, I didn't notice the problem, but I'm not a Sonic fan. Even if they hadn't, I mean, even if it had been the original design, but it had been the same movie just with a goofier looking character, then it still would have been decent for me. But I can't help but wonder if they also, at the same time, they went back and they changed the character design, if maybe they did like new cuts or new edits of the movie, because I remember that original trailer. I just sat there thinking to myself, I feel like my kids are going to take me to go see that. And then they did. But yeah. So.
And that's another thing that kind of surprised me. I wouldn't have guessed that would have been in their age range. I would have guessed that would have been more in our age range because I remember that
Sonic never went away. Sonic's had he's had a presence in games because even though Sega doesn't have their own system anymore, they've licensed Sonic out to like the other video game manufacturers. I know he was in one of Nintendo's Olympics games or something. I think
There's like 40 Sonic games at this point.
Is there?
Yeah, and he does crossovers with other things like Super Smash Brothers, which is basically an excuse for them to take every major and some minor Nintendo characters ever and mush them all together into a fighting game. I think Sonic's part of that too. But yeah, Sonic his own. Yeah, he's had like 40 games of his own. So.
Yeah, not much of a gamer. I think that's one of the things that we've talked about on this show, or haven't talked about on the show, is gaming, which is
that's why we don't talk about gaming, because we're not gamers. I mean, aside of me playing Pokemon Go on my phone, that's gaming, but
thing, isn't it? That's still going pretty strong.
Oh yeah, it's even though it's not really in the forefront of pop culture anymore like it was at first.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's still got a very large, very dedicated player base.
How did the social distancing? Because I know a lot of that was out walking around stuff. How did the COVID-19 affect that?
Oh, they made a lot of changes. Like you can do, like you can get, like if you're out and about, you can still catch all the things. You can still like spin the Pokestops, but you don't even have to be as close to them as you used to be. And like the group raids that people used to get together to do, well, they made passes so you can do them from home if you need to.
Gotcha. All right.
So, but yeah, otherwise gaming is totally off my radar. But my kids play. My daughter just got a Switch, so and over at his mother's house, my son's got the Xbox One, I think, and he's always talking about those games. And honestly, I don't know what he's talking about sometimes. But then I'll watch like YouTube videos. Here's the thing: people stream their gameplay on like YouTube. And
yeah, I've seen some of that.
They'll watch them.
Some of the Fallout stuff before because it just seemed really interesting, like an interesting franchise.
Yeah, he's because he got into like Half-Life for a while, and that was an interesting franchise. Even though I had no context for it, I got into it. I like some of the characters and all that stuff. So, yeah, I don't have to play the games to participate in the conversation with my kids, because but it was my daughter's fault I got into Pokemon Go in the first place. I've been addicted to it ever since. Yes. So, and subsequently that led to me getting into the card game with the kids for a while. And then I got into the anime. So, holy shit. she made me a Pokemon fan.
Nice.
All right. So, Sean, what customs are you working on right now?
Right now, I actually took on a large commission. A guy contacted me through Instagram, and he's doing he's doing a indie comic called We Are Ego, and he asked if I could make some of the characters. I looked at the pictures and I took the job. 5 turned into 6, turned into 7. So I'm working on. I have 4 done, 1 more halfway done, and then 2 others that are primed and ready for paint and accessories. So working on a lot of those.
Nice. Good.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I'm working on some cars, vehicles, different crazy vehicles and drivers for the wacky races that take place in my All That Remains universe.
All right.
Okay, we have made reference to your All That Remains universe on this podcast before, so other than the zombie thing, I didn't explain a whole lot of it in anticipation that eventually we'd have you on the show. So do explain to our listeners what that consists of.
So All That Remains is my go-to post-apocalyptic universe. Zombies overtook the planet, and it was originally based just on G.I. Joe, but it includes just about everything that I grew up loving. It's got Scooby-Doo, Inspector Gadget, characters from different Hanna-Barbera characters. Got Penelope Pitstop and Captain Caveman and a whole bunch of other characters from different universes are all in it. And it's just stories that I write and try to show how people are surviving the end of the world. So I make the characters, and I write a dossier, a bio to go with them, and then I also write a fan fiction, which I'm at like 98 chapters now, that goes in depth into what's happening.
So. Yeah, because on the show I specifically mentioned Danger Mouse and Inspector Gadget, and I think the Scooby-Doo thing, because all of which were properties that when I was a kid did not have any particular interest for me, but when I see like realistic badass customs of them, and in the case of Danger Mouse, he's human, they're suddenly much cooler. The wacky racers, I did like that when I was a kid, so so I've been watching as that's been progressing, and wow, you're a creative bastard, just saying. I'm pretty sure Dastardly and Muttley are my favorites. So they always amused me when I was a kid. So so you just gotta keep expanding on that, then make the world even bigger.
Yeah, it is. It's going. I had Dan Cosa, Spectre, he wrote a chapter a couple years back as like a guest writer, and in his he wrote about a rift in space, and a ship from Star Wars made it into my universe and crash landed, and he never did anything. He was supposed to write more and elaborate more on that, and I decided I was going to take that on. And I also have Stargates in my universe, so I'm going to have 2 different factions of stormtroopers from 2 different eras in time get stuck on my world, and how they have to interact with humans and zombies and all the other crazy stuff that's happening.
Interesting.
How long have you been going on that now? I mean, that's got to been going on 10 years?
No.
More than that.
Yeah. At least 10.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's more like 12, maybe 13 years now. Yeah, he's been going with that for a long time.
I started the All That Remains universe when the 25th figures came out. The 25th G.I. Joes.
Okay. That was 2006, I think.
So 14 years then? Almost 15 years.
2007.
2007, yeah.
So, Well, I can't do math, but hey, that's a long time.
I can't.
That's a you know what? That's a long time to maintain an ongoing project without losing interest in it. Because there's no way I could.
That's what I like about what I did is I have lost interest in certain parts of the storyline for periods of time. So I kind of got wore out writing the G.I. Joe stories and the Cobra stories. So I would introduce something crazy like I did Scooby-Doo. And I wrote about Scooby-Doo for a while. And then when that section of the story kind of came to an open-ended close, I went on to something else. And I come back to the Joe stuff. Like, you are both characters in my universe.
Oh, yeah. In fact,
that's one of the things that I still want to do is make the version of me that's in your universe as a figure.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I think you made a copy of the one that you made for yours to send to me, along with a couple of other customs that you made that I had challenged you to 700 years ago.
Well, it's kind of funny because I saw it. I don't remember where it was, but I saw somebody on one of the. It had to have been Facebook somewhere. Somebody spotlighting all the Remains universe, and they had picked a bunch of figures to show the diversity, and one of them was the figure of me, and I'm like, hey, that's me. So I gotta get that.
Yeah, in fact, I remember when you posted the pictures of the character based on Brian, and immediately I'm like, because I want to say I think he was a Cobra Viper medic too, and I'm like,
yeah,
he perfectly captured the likeness on that one.
He's a Viper medic. You are a Cobra Viper officer.
That's a frightening thought. Well, of course, not all officers are leaders, so hey, that's it.
It tells you something about the infrastructure of Cobra right there.
Sadly, yes, it does. I can't argue with that. So, am I remembering right? Did you put Buffy the Vampire Slayer into All the Remains?
I have not. I put, for those types of characters so far, I have Monster Squad. And then I've been working on
that's right.
G.I. Joe,
right.
Working on Ghostbusters. Buffy's one I could easily put in. That would be a fun one to make, like an older.
Yeah, I think it's necessary. I mean, at least put Buffy and Spike and Angel in there.
Is there a franchise that you want to put in there but haven't found a way to work in there? Or
no, if I wanted to put them in, I just did it. Like, I wanted to put Transformers in, and I just did it. I just figure out a way that makes it work for what I'm looking for.
It's fantastic, because I tried to write a fanfic number of years ago, and I was going to do I started working in a bunch of different franchises as well, and then I just don't know what I'm doing here.
I remember reading what you were writing. In your chapter you wrote about the Range Viper leader was one of the best chapters I've read of any kind of fanfic probably ever. The twist at the end was just amazing.
Yeah, because you had the Major Blood introduction thing, and there was Storm Shadow, and all tied into Stark Industry somehow. And then, you pulled a me and just kind of lost interest into it, shortly into it. Although you lasted longer than I would have with it, because
I think the eventual goal was I was going to make figures for all of these guys, and then do what like G.I. Joe Berg does, and shoot photos of them and do kind of a not
video,
maybe not a video, but more like
that
what Marcus does, kind of a still photo story. I don't know what the name for that is.
A Dio story.
Dio story. There you go. That's what I'm looking for. Yes, I was going to do a Dio story, and I don't even think the one figure that I did do for that was my Major Blood. And then
that's good stuff.
I was really happy with that figure. It was, and then I tried to do a Scarlet, and it didn't turn out, and I lost interest.
You got to introduce other things, that way you don't lose interest.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I was gonna say, didn't you make a custom for the Tony Stark that was in that story? I swear you did.
No.
Mm,
You made a Tony Stark custom.
I have. Let's see.
yeah. That might be what I'm thinking of.
Done a Tony Stark for the Demon in the Bottle
Yeah.
series. I have not. I've done an unmasked Mark 3 or 4. I can't tell from here. I don't remember. And then
That might be the one I'm thinking of.
then I did
Yeah, because
Battle Damage Mark 5.
because it was early on in the because that was around the same time. Well, early on in the MCU. So
It was
that might
shortly after. It was shortly after Iron Man came out because the heads that I used for that were the unreleased 3-pack.
Oh yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised as the Iron Whore that you haven't done more Tony Stark customs.
I'm gonna do a suit one when Marauder gets their restock, but and then I lost the parts for one that I was working on, so yeah, it
happens.
the problem is that with the Marvel just basically shit canning the 3 3/4 inch line, that does it for parts. I can only repaint a figure so many times before I've turned into Hasbro myself, and it's not what I want to do. So it's hard to get decent. I can't sculpt for shit.
Yeah, but are you doing like part swaps with the Marauder stuff? Because I'm in the same boat you are, where parts are very limited. So I've been doing part swaps on the Marauder, swapping lower legs, swapping out knees, swapping out whatever.
Not yet. I'm not quite there, but I'm close. I'm pretty close. But and I'm out of Iron Man stuff too. I mean, I blew through all my Iron Man stuff too.
Yeah, when they shit can that 3 3/4 inch line, yeah, that hurt because the last 6 or 7 years worth of movies, I don't think they have any figures. Or the last, I don't know, at least 4 or 5 years.
They did one for there was a 2-pack that came out with Nick Fury, and I don't remember which armor that was off the top of my head. I've got it, of course.
I've got that one. I don't remember. I don't know what I don't know what the Iron Man figure was that came with it. I bought it for Nick Fury. So, but because I'll buy anything Nick Fury. But I should put him on my list of O-ring customs to do.
Do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I did an O-ring version of Nick Fury, the Steranko Nick Fury, a long time ago, and then just like kitted up full tactical assault gear. But I wonder whatever happened to that, because I used a head from Good to Go Customs, I think.
Oh, there's a name from the past.
Right?
Wow. Man, that was a customizing. That was like a haven for a very long time, and then, well, things change, and
yeah,
wow, that was a while ago. Man, I really have to do it. I really have to do an O-ring Nick Fury now. Okay, now that that's on my mind, I'm not going to drop that for a while, apparently.
So would you do the Ultimates or the 616 version of him?
Hell, I might do both.
You got to do both.
Yeah, they do both exist in my universe. Okay, because my own personal headcanon universe is the biggest part of it is G.I. Joe, but I did pull in other things from it, like the IMF from Mission Impossible is part of it. S.H.I.E.L.D. is a big part of it. So the Avengers, they exist, but they're kind of on the periphery because it's not. I didn't go so far as like the Asgardians and stuff because, well, God damn it, I only have so much energy. But
Well, remind me.
uh,
I'm pretty sure I've got a 616 extra one of those 616 heads. I'll look for it later and send it to you.
I mean, they're
or I'll
related
make
in the
my
Marvel universe.
yeah. Well, in my universe, it's entirely ambiguous whether there's a connection or not. They just both happen to be named Nicholas J. Fury. And it's maybe they're related, maybe they're not. Maybe they're from parallel universes, maybe they're not. Maybe there was Sith alchemy, maybe not. So, but I'm a fan of both. So, yeah, they both just coexist. They both run different branches of, well, I mean, well, no, they can't be branches of Shield. There's different divisions of it. One of which works with GI Joe directly, and it's the ultimate Nick Fury that runs that does the direct liaison with GI Joe. They him and Hawk, they get along. Him and the rest of the Joe command staff don't, but hey, that's half the fun. So, well, yeah, I'm really stuck on that one now. Okay, now those are getting moved to the, if not the top of the to-do list, well, near-ish the top. So, yeah, you know what? I think I just need to make Shield customs. I think that's what it comes down to.
I think I can't. I was gonna say I was wondering. I don't know that I've ever done a Shield custom. I did that Nick Fury, but I don't think I've ever done anything else.
I did a couple with the Iron Man 2 figures where I made a couple of specific Shield agents, but I put them all in like the Stark armor because, because again, I was really trying to join these two universes together. I didn't want to make this, huh?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, because there was Jasper Sitwell, GW Bridge, and I want to say Clay Quartermain. But I don't think, well, I definitely don't have those customs anymore, but like so many things get lost along the way when I'm moving to different places. But I could put them on the to-do list too, because the one I never did get around to making the Dum Dum Dugan. Maybe someday.
You know,
although
there's a line of not a line. There was a run of an alternate universe War Machine where Shield had War Machine armors, and they did what you did, and each one of those particular guys had their own War Machine armor.
Oh, that's cool.
You know what? I think that's what I based it on. I was trying to follow my logic on that one, but yeah, I think that is what. Well, actually, that would make sense because 150 years before I became an Iron Man fan, because of the Ultimates comic, I was long a War Machine fan. I'd been a War Machine fan since I was like 10, and that was before I ever really read much of anything else that he was connected to, because he, along with many other Shield agents or Marvel Universe at large, like affiliates, they showed up in the early run of X-Force, Rob Liefeld's X-Force. And yeah, War Machine had a couple of appearances there, so I took to him immediately.
Gotcha.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I'll do too many. I can't really do armored O-ring customs too much. Not like those, because honestly, the armored figures I have, they're a little bigger than the O-ring Joes, but I still feel like they're close enough to scale. But it does not mean that I can't do unarmored versions in the O-ring style. Oh man, I should do a Rhodey custom. And wonder what I would do Clint Barton. I'd probably end up making him look like Jeremy Renner, no matter how useless he was in the movies. I'd probably end up going that way anyways. But yeah, I always find it fascinating to see the shared universes and the headcanons that people come up with, because I've seen some, I have seen some crazy imaginative stuff. Like, people putting, I don't know, wacky razors. Dude, that's so random. I love it.
Yeah, no,
I absolutely love it.
That was a fun one to work on. That started with Penelope Pitstop because I got a pink boss fight blank. And I was like, what the hell am I going to do with a pink boss fight blank? And that's what it turned into.
Yeah, it's interesting what you can come up with. That's like Marauder's been doing their geared up figures every Saturday. So if it's at least halfway interesting, I'll get one of them and then just see what I can make with whatever they send me.
Nice.
Yeah, I do. I usually look at those every week, but I got lots of modern stuff. I don't buy a lot of it because I don't really need it. I don't. But the other day, when after I didn't check on time and I saw that there was a Lady J that sold out, and I'm like, damn it, I should have looked.
That's the thing, is those are selling out in minutes. They're selling out in minutes. And that's frustrating.
So, yeah. And you know what? I don't know if they restock. I don't even. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But
I think they usually depends on the figure, because I've seen them that they do restock, and then the restock doesn't last very long either. So
that's really not a surprise, because, like I said before, damn you, Marauder, for putting out high quality product consistently. Yeah, you annoy people enough that they have to bitch about it, but they keep giving you money because you guys are so fucking good at what you do.
And that's it's the thing, people bitch about it, but it's like, okay, this is a very small company that's putting this stuff together by hand. So yeah, there's only going to be a limited number of these, and high quality.
Yeah, but
he wants one.
But a lot of times, and with the big companies.
All right, folks. So yeah, as usual, JD has the paid subscription to Zoom, but we can't figure out how to record on my end because I'm the one that does the post-processing and puts it up because it's my YouTube channel. So it's going to kick us off every 40 minutes. So
well, it worked out for me because I had to go read to my daughter for bedtime.
Exactly. It was good timing. So
it was. We're reading.
Excellent. You can come read to me for my bedtime tonight then.
We started chapter books, and I'm reading a lot of books that I didn't read as a kid that you'd probably like.
Yeah,
I never read those books either when I was a kid. So,
well, we read The Never-Ending Story.
Okay.
And the rule was she can't see the movies until we've read the books.
Nice.
So we read The Never-Ending Story, got halfway through, and realized halfway through the book that halfway through the book is where the movie ends. So we read halfway. She got to see the movie, and then we finished the book. And the second half of the book does not need to be read. It's terrible.
Oh, really?
It's
never
awful.
Read that either. So
only read the first half, because the second half, the little boy Bastian, he just becomes an irredeemable ass. and nothing, like, they try to make him a good kid again by the end of the story, but you just don't. The things he does in that second half are just irredeemable.
Oh man!
Didn't they make a sequel to the movie?
They did, but it's not based on the second half of the book.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that they made a sequel off of that.
They did.
No idea. So,
we're now reading the Chronicles of Narnia.
Okay.
We're almost done with the first book. So
nice.
I wasn't allowed to read those when I was a kid. So
they're good. I'm enjoying them.
Yeah, but Brian will tell you that my parents were all about the satanic panic. So
we've talked about that.
Yeah, everything that was sword and sorcery, it was off limits to me. Somehow, some way, I got away with Masters of the Universe, and I don't know how. And Thundercats, but everything else was just, everything else was off limits. So,
man,
it was a tortured existence. Not really. My childhood was great. but my parents were lame. So, that's okay. I love them anyways. So, they did the best they could. They just, I don't know, they were just brainwashed by a message from certain sects of, you know, beliefs, and that's just, so it goes.
It happens.
Yeah, definitely. So I forgot where we left off because
Well, I was talking about, the way, people are complaining that they can't get all the MTF stuff that they want, but that's because, well, with like Hasbro and stuff, they bitch because, well, they're not making everything that the fans want them to make. Where Marauder has the exact opposite problem, where the buyers are loving everything that they're doing, but they bitch because they can't get a hold of it. But I guess that is a much better set of complaints than, oh my God, the toy company is crapping on all my dreams.
Well, I have an unpopular opinion. When the 25th stuff came out, I was upset with things like, the suicide risks on Duke and some of the proportions and stuff. But as the line got better, they started putting out better figures, and then you get to like Pursuit of Cobra, which are some of the best figures that G.I. Joe has ever put out, right?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
during that, from that evolution, people would complain, oh, this is just a repaint, this is just a part swap, this is a repaint, this is a part swap. And now Marauders is doing part swaps and repaints, and I love Marauders. I have a huge collection. I have an order that was just shipped to me today, and no one seems to see the hypocrisy of them going,
no, of course not.
I don't want to pay $20 for a 2-pack G.I. Joes that come with these great weapons like Low Light versus a Night Viper, because they've already made a Night Viper, but I'm going to pay $27 for this part swapped MTF figure. And I can't jive with those people, because I'm like, look, it's all the same. Even when we're doing customs, like the base of my customs are all part swaps and repaints.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things I talk about in my figure reviews when I do the Joy Toy figures. I'd say, you've got to embrace the fact that this is a new set of the figures that you just bought. If you have one of these sets, you have these figures already. It's just that they do an amazing job with paints, and to me, that's the hallmark not only of a good figure but of a good custom, is when you can take the same old parts and it's all about the paint. In my opinion, you put an awesome paint job on something and suddenly it's a whole new figure. Yep. And I think, yeah, we did get kind of bitchy about that with Hasbro, but I don't think they have the creativity that like Joy Toy and Marauder had.
I don't know. I would disagree with that. That Pac line was more creative than anything.
Well, yeah, no, Pursuit of Cobra. I'm talking about the later, where everybody was bitching about they were part swaps, because a lot of that Pursuit of Cobra stuff was new.
No,
right, and then they used those parts to make more characters.
Well, Pursuit of Cobra is also, and in my opinion, Rise of Cobra. It's Rise of Cobra and Pursuit of Cobra. They're a big exception when it comes to the modern stuff, because people can say what they want about the Rise of Cobra movie, even though
figures were great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, I didn't love the movie. I didn't hate the movie. It was what it was. I like the accelerator suits, and I don't give a damn what anybody says. And I like that whole damn scene in the movie. But the toy line was phenomenal. Pursuit of Cobra was somehow even better.
Yeah.
And which led into the retaliation stuff, which was also great, but nobody could get it because they started shipping the figures to the stores, and then they pushed the movie back 9 months so that they could do the 3D treatment on it. And by that point, the stores
stagnated.
Well, in preparation for the movie coming out, the second time, even though it only came out the one time, then the store started ordering the same Wave 1 stuff that they had been ordering when before the movie was initially delayed. And so the later stuff got harder to find because people had already bought their fill when Retaliation was originally supposed to come out. So that later stuff was just, it was impossible to find. But again, they were great toys. But they said it before, and I'll say it again with the 25th line. I was very excited at the beginning, but within a year, I started to realize how bad some of those figures actually were proportions-wise. Yeah. Like you said, the suicide risks on Duke, which, again, they did fix with the later version, but they shouldn't have started out that way in the first place. But, yeah, I mean, I understand what the appeal with the 25th line was because it was retro. It was recreating a lot of stuff that we'd had as kids. But I don't think they were the best engineered stuff. And by the time Rise of Cobra came around 2 years later, they were already making much, much better figures. And a couple of years after that, like when the club started doing the 25th style figures, a lot of times they were using 25th parts in the post Rise of Cobra and current Pursuit of Cobra time frame, and that made me further realize just how bad a lot of the 25th stuff actually was. But whatever, I've always had weirdo opinions like that. I can't.
I don't know that that's a weirdo opinion.
I think that's a weirdo opinion at all.
No, I think that's a pretty common held conception is that, it was the 25th anniversary line when it came out. It was, the figures were kind of shit when you look at them, especially in retrospect, but it was like being a kid again because you could go to the store and here is this, V1 Snake Eyes on the shelf and the V1 Storm Shadow and all this
the nostalgia factor.
Absolutely. It's like the retro Star Wars stuff that's at Walmart right now. And to some extent, probably not for me because I didn't collect Transformers on the level that I did G.I. Joe, but the retro Transformer stuff that's coming out. And then, of course, we've heard all these rumors about there being a retro G.I. Joe line, which has seen no substantiation from any reputable source at all.
Nope. But, here's the thing. Now, Marauder came along. Now, Marauder gun runners, they were making weapons for 1/18 scale figures I think they started making those back in like 2005 because they were already established when the 2006 New Orleans G.I. Joe convention was going on because I went to that and I met Marauder John, who runs the company, and they kept putting out weapon sets for years after that, and then they were successful enough that they decided to get on. They decided to experiment, and they did a Kickstarter for Marauder style action figures that would have modular gear that you could and ports on the figures and on the gear so that you could switch around all the gear in different configurations and make different characters, and suddenly that was massive.
That's what makes their line so great compared to some of the other lines. I love all the stuff that's out now. Like I think Chicken Fried Toys with their Dime Novel Legends is some of the greatest looking figures out. Boss Fights put out really great stuff, but the modular aspect of Marauder is what sets it apart from everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and you know what? I can't get as heavily into the Vitruvian stuff or the Chicken Fried stuff simply because I don't have an active Modern Joe collection. I mean, I do have plenty of them, but I'm not adding to it anymore. And really, Vitruvian hacks, I've run into this one problem. They're all dynamite. They're all fantastic. Absolutely none of it fits my focus. So I don't I haven't shelled out the money for it because it looks great, but I don't need Roman soldiers in my figure displays.
No, you got to get the blanks,
Yeah.
because then you can do things like, so boss fight arms on a Marauder body, and I made
Yeah.
my version of Storm Shadow. And then with the torso, I threw this guy together using the boss fight torso and a boss fight head. I don't know how well that's going to show up, but he's waiting to be painted. The blanks are where it's at. Those are what I buy most, because I'm with you. I don't need all the Roman stuff.
I like the skeletons myself because I've been using those. I found an artist that does really cool like period art. So he's got like Western and then World War II and modern warfare kind of stuff where the characters are skeletons. You know, so it's a skeleton with cowboy clothes, or it's a group of skeletons in World War II uniforms, and I've been using those parts to make customs based on his art, and I couldn't have ever done that without the Vitruvian stuff.
Oh, their skeletons are awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not saying. I mean, I'm not saying it's not awesome. It doesn't fit my. But I mean, for everybody that loves it, I mean, the Chicken Pride toy stuff is great because if you ever wanted a good cowboy line, well, there's been nothing better. I always get interested in those kind of things, especially because there was I think it was supposed to be a show exclusive figure, even though there are no shows because fucking coronavirus. But they did one in particular that looked like a Civil War era.
Bill.
Yeah, exactly. He looks like the Battle Corps Wild Bill with.
It's online. You can get it on their website.
But see, I might have to pick that up just because I like that version of Wild Bill. I like that there's a modern version, and I like that the club didn't make it because it's not a bunch of repainted half-assed parts. But I don't think. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with that retro G.I. Joe line. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know if there was ever anything to it. But if there is, and if they're O-ring, of course I'm all in on it. But like everything else I collect.
Speculation, isn't it? Is it people think that it's too soon to have a retro line on the 25th anniversary style?
Way too soon
and
to
I
have
agree with
retro
that.
style 25th figures.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but I see him kind of. I'm afraid that's what's going to happen.
I think that's what we're going to get if we get anything.
Well, and if that's the case, then I'll buy select characters. They'll do Stalker. Well, I'll buy Stalker. If they make Lady J, well, I'll buy Lady J. If they make Spirit, well, I'll buy Spirit. They won't make Chuckles, so I won't have to buy Chuckles. There's a slim chance they might make Grunt, and if they do, well, I'm all about it. But I don't know. But then the exact same thing goes for the 6-inch line, depending on what they make.
I was just going to say, I wanted to, Grogan, what do you got to say about the 6-inch line? Give me your opinion on that.
I think those figures look fantastic, but I don't have the room to switch to a larger scale. I just don't have the room. And I have so much time invested and money invested in this scale that I can't switch. I picked up a couple of the ninja figures by Articulated Icons to make a Snake Eyes and a Storm Shadow, and I like them. They're great.
Yeah.
But if I see them on the shelves, I might pick up the 6-inch, but I'm not going all in.
Yeah, no.
Well,
I just can't.
At least the first wave, I'll probably buy them because I've said before, I really like that Scarlet figure because it's the only straight out of the package Scarlet figure, in my opinion, that isn't, well, terrible. The 25th Scarlet, good luck finding a worse figure. A worse. Aesthetically, it was okay, but it was the way they sculpted it with the articulation. It was poorly articulated. Gung Ho had the same problem. Roadblock had the same problem. really nifty in the prototype pictures, but that shit's photoshopped. You get it in hand, and now I've seen lots of pictures of the 6-inch Joes that people have gotten early, and I am impressed with all of them except for Roadblock. That is not to say I will not buy Roadblock, but I will have to customize him to make him a whole lot taller than he is, because boy, did they drop the ball on that one. Because in my opinion, Roadblock is supposed to be fucking massive. Because even in the Marvel comics, and when you see like comic book covers with Flint, Roadblock, and Lady J, he fucking dwarfs Flint and Lady J, but that's because that's what he's supposed to be. And the 6-inch figure, well, he's not tall enough. But beyond that, I don't know. But I mean, if the retro Joe line, if it's happening, and if it is 25th style stuff, I'll buy certain characters. Now, if they were to sink the expense into recasting vintage O-ring figures, I'm buying all of them, and half of them will end up getting customized or tweaked anyways, because that's what my entire collection is. There's a bunch of stuff straight out of the package, but a whole lot of stuff that can never be resold because I couldn't not fuck with it. I had to. But that's how I am with every toy line I ever buy, really. But yeah, I think for 3 3/4 or 4-inch Joe toy collectors right now, wow, there's a wealth of stuff out there.
It's just not at retail is the problem. It's all
no.
It's all, I don't want to say higher end, but it's all
boutique.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Boutique is a good way to put that. It's for retail. It's a flood of 6-inch figures, and bully for those guys. And I do have a fairly decent 6-inch figure collection of one character, but I like like unlike Sean, I do have the room, but like Sean, I don't have the money. I am not going to get vested in a whole nother scale that I have no other figures to go along with it other than Iron Man and War Machine. And then somebody said, well, I got a PM asking me the other day if I was going to pick them up to customize. And I said, I had to explain to somebody that's like, when I customize, I pull stuff from, I've got like 10 different bins and bags and drawers sitting out in front of me, and I pull stuff from all of those places based off of fodder that I have just sitting around.
Yeah.
I cannot, aside from just straight repaints, I don't have the fodder base to start customizing a whole different scale.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on that. And I'm looking around my room, and it's like you, I just have bins and bins full of parts. And to switch to a new scale, I have some Build-A-Figure part leftovers from Build-A-Figures, but that's from Marvel Legends, but that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, same. I've got probably 4 or 5 Build-A-Figure pieces laying around here that go to, nothing that came with whatever Iron Man or War Machine figure that
right.
So, I just haven't put them all together to find a Marvel Legends guy that needs them.
Now, what I will say about the 6-inch figures, and this is my only caveat, my daughter absolutely loves G.I. Joe. She will bust out in the G.I. Joe theme song out of nowhere. She had a G.I. Joe themed birthday. We had Cobra Commander come to her birthday. She lost it. None of the other kids knew who he was, but
amazing.
She loved it.
That's amazing.
If we see these figures on the shelves and she wants them, I will get them for her.
Yeah, that I can see. Absolutely.
I want her to stay a fan. I want her to get into it.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I'm the same way with okay, well, look, I've when I was a kid, I knew of one monster truck. There was one in existence. It was Bigfoot. I don't know if there were more. I don't know, but I knew who Bigfoot was. I never got into it. Well, my son, he got into monster trucks a couple of years ago, The monster truck world is absolutely huge.
They're
Monster
amazing.
Jam.
You got to take him to
And-
Monster Jam.
Oh, for the first time the other day, he asked me if we could ever go, and I told him, well, if you want to go, then yeah, we'll absolutely go. I told him I don't know if they're going to be doing that this year because of the virus, and if they are, there won't be audiences like what they're doing with WWE wrestling. They are still doing the shows, but there is no audience. And but I told him if he wants to go, I'll be more than happy to take him because hang on.
Sounds like somebody's. Oh, all right.
Yeah. See these things? We've got it. I've got to have like 60 of them for him. They're, and the monster trucks scratch the exact same itch for me that like G.I. Joe and Marvel does. Okay. Yes, they're trucks. Yes, there are people that drive the trucks. But the trucks are as much characters as like the G.I. Joes are. And
oh man, they are huge. My daughter, if you asked my daughter today what kind of car she wants when she's older, she's going to tell you she wants a Gravedigger, but in pink.
Nice.
That is fantastic. I love it.
I think pink might be the only variation the Gravedigger hasn't come in. Because, see, here's the other thing with the monster trucks. Now, Gravedigger, which is exactly what this one is huge. Okay, he is one of he's what Bigfoot was to monster trucks when I was a kid. Although there is a new Bigfoot that Hot Wheels put out. It's not part of the Monster Jam collection, but they put out a couple of retro monster trucks from the 80s, but they're in scale and in the same style as Monster Jam. And so I bought him a Bigfoot. He doesn't particularly care about it, but I got a thrill out of it because I never had a Bigfoot when I was a kid. But like I said, I knew who it was. A friend of mine did have it. And I was absolutely tickled that there was a brand new 1/64th scale Bigfoot. So I had to get one. But Gravedigger, yeah, he's massive. He's had lots of variations.
Son of Gravedigger.
Gravedigger the Legend.
Gravedigger the Legend.
And then the old red truck, which was the very first Gravedigger ever. And now my son told me, now, mind you, it was 2 years ago when he said this. It was 5 years old. And his mother asked him, she saw the red old-fashioned truck. And she said, what's that? He said, that's the mud truck. Well, I came to find out that the mud trucks are basically, they do the tricks outside the arena and they do public appearances and shit. And these monster trucks are every bit as much as characters as like the WWE wrestlers and the fictional stuff like G.I. Joe. There are different variations on them because for different arena events, there are different styles of these trucks. Well, right now, my son is Monster Jam has a theme going on where it's fire versus ice, where they take a bunch of the different Monster Jam characters and they paint them up in with these icy paint jobs or these fiery paint jobs. My son is all about them, and a lot of them do not exist yet, as far as I've seen, in the toy line. But the ones that they do have, I bought most of them. But we watch it on YouTube. I'll watch Monster Jam with him. I mean, like I said, on my own, without him, no, I wouldn't have gotten into it. But that's my favorite thing about having kids is they get you into things that you might never have ever realized. Like, without having kids, I don't think Monster Jam would have ever been on my radar. But
Here I am, just like Nyla Bones are awesome because I have dogs.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, my daughter got me into Pokemon. And it, at first it started out just as something to bond with her with, and then I actually grew into the fandom myself. With Monster Jam, I've got my favorite trucks, and some of them, some of these things that I bought, it's because I wanted them. I mean, my son's always happy to get them, but there's some that I wanted specifically. And
When they come back, you've got to take them to a Monster Jam, but make sure it's the Monster Jam that has the pre-show. Because see, I've been in the Monster Jam since I was little, and one of our early dates, my now wife took us to Monster Jam. And it was just us, and we just took. So year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, my daughter was in ballet, and she had a big recital, end of the year recital, and it was
yeah.
on a Sunday in the morning. But
Oh
we
yeah.
had bought Monster Jam tickets 6 months before for Sunday that
Nice.
evening.
Yeah.
So we did our ballet recital and then got her changed and drove down to New Jersey for Monster Jam and realized we are not a ballet family. We are a Monster Jam family.
Monster Jam family. Yep. Yep. See, the funny thing is with these monster trucks is, I'm not a sports guy, not by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
Never would have guessed.
This hat is from Happy Gilmore. Okay. Now, look, I love sports movies. I don't know why, but I can always get into a sports movie. But actual real sports, I could not give two shits less. I have my teams that I like. I don't watch the games. But I was raised a New York Yankees fan. My football team is the New Orleans Saints. But I don't care about but Monster Jam, yeah, sometimes it's gotten to the point where sometimes my son's not here, and I'll still put them on YouTube just because I'll watch the ones that are less about the driving and more about, like, they'll do the spotlights on the drivers, or they'll have these brief, like, history of the line of, these monsters. Because with Monster Jam, a lot of times the drivers start out and then they have kids and they're raised in the Monster Jam world and they grow up and they're monster truck drivers themselves. I mean, there's a dynasty with it. Gravedigger was driven by Dennis Anderson, and now all of his kids are growing up and they're all driving the trucks. And his grandson that was born, I think, last year, he'll probably grow up and he'll drive monster trucks. Yep. And it's really kind of cool because, like I said, when my son is with me, we'll watch and drive around the track, and sometimes I'll watch that. But yeah, I think it's cool to see the focus on the drivers, and you see the faces that go with it, and they're all decked out in like jumpsuits that match their trucks. And last year, I actually customized the monster truck for my son. I made up a monster truck character, and I took the thing and I repainted it and I put stickers on it and I made a character out of it. And that was simultaneously one of the most random customs I ever made, but it was satisfying because it was way out of the box from anything else that I would have customized. So, I put his name on the front of it, and he liked the fact that he was the driver for a truck called Chicken Nugget. And yeah, one of his favorite things. And he loved it. And I got such joy out of customizing this monster truck that I thought, now it's the only one I've made up to this point, but I'm looking at these little ones and I'm like, I might have to make some customs out of these things too. Either different ones or, I don't know, just different versions of these things. Marvel
an old beat up stamp and then some RC tires and make a 1/18 scale monster truck.
I'm just thinking now I have to make one of those for the wacky races.
Oh, that
yes, you do. Oh, that would be phenomenal.
I'm already thinking of parts in my head.
Yeah, man. RC tires are the way to go on that.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, and I could have clutch drive one.
Yep.
Well, well, okay. Here's when Marvel and DC, they both have officially licensed Monster Jam trucks. There's a Thor truck. There's a Hulk truck. There's a Captain America truck. There's an Iron Man truck.
What?
There's
Yeah.
there's a Batman truck. There's a Wonder Woman truck. There is let's see, Superman's got one. And you know, I was looking at these things the other day when my son, well, my son and I, we went over to the park. I brought a whole box full of these things so we could play with them in the sand and the grass, and you know, actually make a arena. And I'm looking at this thing, and I'm like, I picked one up, and I mean, like I said, it's 1/64th scale, so it's slightly, I mean, it's bigger and taller than like a Matchbox truck. But I'm looking at this, and I'm like, I think I want to do a Shield Monster Dram truck. And I think I'm gonna do that. I'll get Shield logos for it, and I'll
Mother has water slide decals.
damn it, you just on me about those damn water slide decals that I do not have the patience to attempt. I tried them. I was not good with them.
I'll put a tutorial video together that'll make it simple even for you.
Yeah. No, it's not a matter of I can't do it. It's I don't have the patience for it. But to make a Shield theme truck, I just see a giant ass exception in my very near future here.
Well, I'm gonna order some of the Shield water slide decals because I am doing that Walmart version of Black Widow. The the 90s style one, right? She came with the Shield jetpack, and I built the backpack, and it has a Shield logo on it. So I need a water slide decal for my custom of her.
Oh,
just buy water slide paper.
I don't have a decent printer.
Come on, you got to have you've got a printer.
I got a shitty printer.
Can it print 300 DPI?
I don't know. I'd have to double check on that.
Because our printer's not great, and I make my own water slides.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, good. You want to make me some Shield logos? I don't have a printer for my. I don't have my printer. I don't have a printer for my computer at all because I don't need one.
How do you downscale the whatever you're using, whatever image?
Well, I find the image I like, and then I actually just use Preview on the Mac. And
Really?
Now that I have Photoshop, I could use that. And I just make sure that it's 300 pixels, and then size it down.
All right.
And they've worked every single time I've done them. The sheets are small. You print them up and you let them dry, and then I blast them with a coat of the Games Workshop matte sealer.
Yeah.
And then they work perfectly.
Huh. All right. Well, I might have to try and make my own because
it's not hard. It's really not. And our printer's not great.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I might have to try that then. Because I've seen the paper. I remember seeing the paper a long time ago, but I've never. I thought, it might be something I need to figure out how to do, and then never got on it, and then decided that I needed to start doing decals on some of my stuff. So I've just been using Bad Mother's stuff, his stuff's phenomenal.
That stuff is great. And the thing is right when that started, I was trying to do the same thing. I was trying to print water slide decals, but they beat me to the punch. And because their quality is just so good, and they're clearly that's their job, that's their business.
Right.
I just do them for myself now.
Gotcha. Huh. Well, I might have to look into that then, because that'd be handy.
Well, put it this way: if you do a video tutorial on them, because I did watch a video tutorial, because I bought some water slide decals. I ordered them last year, and I did watch a YouTube. No, I take that back. It was not a YouTube video. It was basically an audio recording that somebody did with like step-by-step instructions, and they just I'm like, I do not have the patience for this shit. But
how do you not have the patience for it when you customize? I mean, it's not any different. It's just a different step.
Yeah, but it's a step that I don't have the patience for. A lot the same way that I would Yeah, I've never airbrushed before. No, I take that back. I used an airbrush one time, and I'm just like, it's too finicky. I couldn't
Yeah,
get into
okay,
it
the
at all.
airbrush is a little touchy. I give you that, but
But
it's
but
once you get the
but
hang of it,
see,
it's like, oh my god, why haven't I been doing this for years?
yeah, but I felt exactly the same way with
Right.
the decals,
I'll be right.
where I'm just like, I can't really get into this. But then, decals
The thing
themselves.
is sometimes the decals aren't what you need. Because so whenever I want to put like a patch on somebody, like a flag patch or even like a name tag, if I do the water slide decal, it's flush and it's just smooth and it's flat. But sometimes I want that a little more of a 3D quality to it. So I'll just make instead of printing it on water slide paper, I'll print it on just regular.
I'll say that later.
So yeah, timed out again while we were recording. And of course, my dog so I had to go deal with my children for a change. And then it stopped recording while I was away. So we're back, and I have no idea what we were talking about because I had to go feed the dogs.
Water slide decals.
Okay, still on that topic. Yeah, maybe I will have to look for that paper then. Where do you get your paper? At your local hobby store then?
No, I actually just get it off of Amazon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, shit. I'm going to have to look into that then. Because that would be, there's a bunch of stuff that I would probably, wow, okay. Huh.
They have it for inkjet and laser, so you need to know what kind of printer you have.
Okay, pretty sure we have an inkjet printer, but I'll take a look at that tonight then. Or
you can get 20 sheets for $15.
That's not bad.
No.
Because, I mean, geez, I spend probably half of that on one sheet from Bad Mother.
Right, and now you have Photoshop, so you can make up the sheet, put all the decals you want on it, print it up, and then use them as you want.
Huh. That sounds fantastic. I will have to look into that. So yeah, I will do that, and I'll have to do a how-to video on how to do it for the slower kids in the bus here, which would be JD.
I have to beat you to it because I need to get some more viewers.
Hey, whoever does the tutorial first, I'll take my cues from. I keep looking at these trucks. I'm like, yep, I need to do a shield one, and of course that led into, well, fuck, I kind of need a Cobra one then, don't I? So, well, hey, this is the thing now. Inspiration comes from.
I still think a 1/18th scale monster truck would be pretty cool. I mean, you take an old beat up vamp from the Ninja Cruiser would be a cool one to do, or like any vamp in general. And put some RC on that thing, and that'll look pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, and like I said, I'll make clutch to go with it and put them in like a driving. Like the whole get up. Customizing inspiration can come from anywhere. But so all right, now here's just a question. Now name a property, any franchise, any comic book, whatever, that there are no toys for, and you badly wish that somebody somewhere would put a damn toy line out for it.
I'm gonna
like a full-fledged toy line.
Never ending story. I would kill for a 1/18th Falcor.
That's a big fluffy dog, right?
Yep, the Luck Dragon.
Yeah, that would be. And see, if they put one of those out, I would get one, despite having no particular context for it. I wouldn't care. That would be one of those things that I would buy just to have it and set my toes on it. I mean, it'd be cool.
I got my Altered Carbon.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Most people are familiar with the Netflix series, which isn't too bad. However, there's 3 series of books that is phenomenal. and the storytelling in that verse is so in depth that it would completely support a line. And I mean, that's, you know, the whole premise of the series is that the technology has advanced so much to the point where the human consciousness can be digitized and put into another body, which they call skins, or sleeves, I'm sorry, is into a new sleeve. So, I mean, you could have the same character and it would in 10 different figures, and none of those figures would look the same.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, would be and
wow,
I've read that book. I've read those 3 books at least a dozen times each. I've listened to the audio books probably a dozen times each. They're really cool. So, and it's real high tech. It's military science fiction, which is one of my favorite things to read. So that would be my answer. I'm going to go with Altered Carbon on that.
Okay. My choice, The Fifth Element.
Ooh.
I have always wanted a toy line based on it, and I know Funko or Super 7, one of them made the reaction like the vintage Kenner style type.
5.0, yeah, 5 POA.
Yeah, I mean, for what they were very cool. For the itch that they were trying to scratch, I do believe they succeeded. But I did not buy them because, again, that's really not my. I have a couple of vintage Star Wars figures, but again, they were just for the characters. But I bought Mr. Miyagi, but that's because Mr. Miyagi is my favorite movie character of all time, and I had to.
I bought a couple of the Predators. I bought the Rocketeer. I bought a couple of the Aliens. I bought a Terminator. I got the Back to the Future Marty and Doc Brown, and then I bought a Leonard Nimoy, Mr. Spock, the day after he died, and then and then of course I have the DeForest Kelly.
There was, well, what's said is that for that toy line, they were supposed to make a Star Trek: The Next Generation set, but it never happened. For whatever reason, I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah, they were supposed to do TNG figures, and those they said, I'd buy them when they put them out, and then I don't think that is to say they won't come out at some point. I don't know, but yes, I want a toy line for The Fifth Element. Everything in that movie was like some kind of like visual thrill just to look at it. It's loud, it's colorful, it's futuristic without being without being something wholly out there. I mean, it's very conceivable to believe that the Earth could end up looking and operating the same way 150, 200 years from now. But the characters are fun. The aliens are cool. I know the weapons are cool, and I can imagine. I can imagine that.
I will buy it only if it comes with a Zeus.
That was the big gun, right?
No, Zeus is the little kid that there was in the very beginning where he's yelling at
right.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So I want to
say, I want the big gun.
I want to yell a Zeus light every time I'm working on a custom.
Yeah, but he probably he would have to be in the 2-pack with Lou Perry.
Yes.
May he rest in peace. Wow, that's really weird. I just thought about that. I think he's the first cast member from Fifth Element to die. I was watching Twister last night on Netflix. Well, I was all excited because I realized that it was on Netflix. I immediately texted my sister in all caps. I'm like, oh my God, Twister's on Netflix. We watched the shit out of that when we were teenagers. But I was watching that. I'm like, man, Bill Paxton, Philip Seymour Hoffman, they're both dead. I'm like, this is kind of depressing now. But yeah,
I did a song for that, as I recall.
Huh? What'd you say?
I did a song for that.
Yeah, I kind of like. I was watching the film. I don't know, last month, I'm looking at this. I'm like, I cannot believe. Well, for one, I can't believe that nothing else ever happened with that property, which is fine. I'm not, I'm not saying that it needed to.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of shocked that it never did. But I'm looking at this thing and I'm like imagine like boss fight style figures. I'm just like, Lilu, Corbin, Ruby Rod, the big aliens, and Zorg, and I'm just like, my God, they could do a wealth of characters from this movie. Plus they could do Corbin Dallas's taxi and the ship and the ships and the man, that was so badass.
Lava Laguna,
What?
the Diva.
Yes, exactly.
Oh yeah.
That
Exactly.
was awesome.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. It was just it was kind of cool. But then there was another movie from a couple years ago. I think it was directed by the same guy, Luke Besson, called Valerian, and I watched that, and it's kind of like a spiritual. It felt like kind of a spiritual spin-off from The Fifth Element, and I'm looking at that. I'm like, fuck, nobody ever made toys from that either, and it's kind of crazy because there's so much visual eye candy in these movies, and just like, how has somebody not made a toy line from this? And how is somebody?
There's plenty of stuff that did get toy lines, but it wasn't 1/18 scale. So I would say, like June, the David Lynch movie, or have them do figures of the movie that's supposed to come out this year. I was gonna say Buck Rogers, but they did do Buck Rogers. Classic Battlestar Galactica.
I could get into a toy line about classic Battlestar. That would be interesting.
Well, there was a 1/18 scale classic Battlestar Galactica line. I forgot about that.
Yeah, but I'm talking about new stuff.
1/18 scale Thundar the Barbarian.
Hey.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you just said magic words.
I saw somebody post a picture, some cool pictures from Thundar, and they're like, "This needs to be a toy line." And like, "Hey, that's
fuck yes, it does." I don't know when.
What was one of the other toy? The Herculoids was the other one that I saw.
Herculoids would work. The original Space Ghost.
Yes.
Have basically all of the Hanna-Barbera things, Blue Falcon.
I was just gonna say I'd love to have a 1/18 scale Blue Falcon. I've seen the Scooby-Doo figures, people posting them on there, but I'm like, I would love to have a Blue Falcon and Dino Mud, but I'm like, they're just not in the scale.
I made them. I just made them a couple months back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, Sean, didn't you make those characters? I swear you did.
I made Blue Falcon and Dino Mud.
I can't.
What was your recipe for Blue Falcon?
So I got them right here actually. So Blue Falcon, I kind of updated them. So torso, upper legs, arms were Night Adder.
Okay.
The lower legs were off of I want to say it was a Fortnite figure. I'm not quite sure. And then the feet were from the Vulture from Spider-Man. The head is a Drax head modified, and then a cape off of Lando Calrissian.
All right.
Dude, hold it up. Show the audience.
All right, you're gonna have to start talking because otherwise it'll.
So here it is, right there. You can kind of see. There's the legs.
Yeah.
I updated them for armor.
Cool. That's fucking cool.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Yeah, good use of that cape too, because on the Lando figure, that cape looked really wonky, but on that custom, it looks like it belongs.
That cape was the piece I needed to finish that custom.
Yeah, that cape is perfect for it. Man, you said Thundar the Barbarian, and god damn it, now I want to see a toy line based on that. Oh, wait a minute. Huh. Thunder. That might be a reason for me to get into a Vitruvian hex thing.
I was just
I
going
could
to
do a
say,
Thundar.
easily do
fight figures for that. It would be so
Yep.
easy to do a Thundar with. You could almost do it. You could get the Barbarian and almost do a non, like no paint. You could do an LBC custom just straight off the Barbarian figure.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm like, might be time to pop the cherry on that one because, yeah, and I just
For
want
Ookla,
to
you
point-
could use one of those really articulated Chewbacca's.
I was actually thinking the Fresh Monkey Fiction stuff, the Spiro line, with where Jason, I can't pronounce his name. God damn it, you know who I'm talking about.
I knew who you're talking about.
Yeah, he did. Sorry, Jason, if you happen to listen to this. I'm not even gonna attempt your name and fuck it up. But yeah, he did all those animalistic figures. I bet I could.
They're on
whip
the
up
short
a-
side.
Yeah, but he's got a deluxe line coming out,
Those
and
are
they're a little taller.
huge.
Yeah. So
They're
Ookla the
huge.
mock. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's
Ookla the
still.
mock.
I don't know. I think those are going to be too big.
I don't.
I think if
Well,
you got one of the really well articulated Chewbacca's from like the Black Series, and you sculpted a head, that would work because it would be the right height. It could be a little beefier, but I think the deluxe figures. I'm holding one of the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom in my hand right now.
Oh,
And they're
thank you. That
small.
was the name of the toy line. God damn it, I couldn't remember it. Well, okay, let's put it this way. Take one of the deluxe figures, maybe combine with some Chewbacca. Oh, god damn it, I think I need to do this now. Holy shit, what a good
Write it
idea.
down or you'll forget it.
What's up?
Write it down or you'll forget it.
Yeah, it's true.
Just
But
watch this video.
well, exactly. I don't know. I always really liked Thunder. There was something about it that really super appealed to me when I was a kid, and I can't believe that nobody's done toys from it. But and it isn't like it doesn't have a following. So I don't know. Maybe it's legal problems. But yeah, I think that's a good idea. Not something I would have thought of, but good one. Did you remember the Disney movie from, I want to say, I think it was like 1978 or something. It was a live action Disney movie called Condor Man.
I don't remember that.
No, I don't.
Okay, well, I remember it from when I was a kid, and basically the guy runs around in a costume, dresses like a bird. God damn it, I loved that shit when I was a kid. I've always wanted to see a figure of it, and I'm actually kind of surprised that in this era of reboots, remakes, and updates, that some of the more obscure, lost Disney properties like Condor Man has not been revisited. I could easily see an 18 scale figure of him. I made an armored version out of an Iron Man figure, so it was like a super tech Condor Man some years ago. But yeah, I just like a one-off figure of him. That'd be awesome. Yeah, like I said, I can't believe they haven't updated something like that.
I got a trio of lines.
Yeah, do it.
It's got to be all three. It's got to be Bionic 6, Silverhawks, Tiger Sharks.
I'm in for the Silverhawks for sure. I would like to see a Centurion's line on top of that, if I may.
Yes.
With all the interchangeable gear, and that is something that, that really they didn't expand upon outside they made one set of toys out of that. That's something they could have added on to for waves and waves, and because it's modular. That's what we all agreed that we liked Marauder Task Force stuff for. So you make modular equipment packs for those figures, and yeah, you got a line that just that's you got a property that's just begging for a toy line?
Whatever the third part of that trio was, I can't remember now. I've never heard of it. And earlier you guys mentioned Herculoids. I have no memory of it. What is it? Please refresh my memory. I have no memory at all of a Herculoid. I remember Rock Lords and the Inhumanoids or Inhuman or something, but I don't. That's not even ringing a bell for me.
It was in the same universe as Space Ghost. They were kind of like space barbarians. They were on a planet, and there were the parents, a son, I think a daughter, and then here we go. I just got the character list. So you had Xandor was the father, Terra was the wife, Dorno was the son, and then they had these creatures, and the creatures were what really sold it. There was Zoc, a flying space dragon, Igloo, a rock ape, Tundro, a 10-legged, 4-horned rhinoceros that shot these like energy rocks out of its nose, and then Gloop and Gleep. It was awesome. It was absolutely fantastic. And it was in that same universe as Space Ghost.
That's insane. I want to watch that now.
It was great.
I don't, but I can't, I can't help but think, there's a whole lot of properties that these toy manufacturers, and again, in an era of remakes and reboots of everything, I don't know how some of these properties have not made a comeback either. I mean, really, Centurions, with today's toy technology, the way, the way they engineer this stuff, you could do like 30 versions of each one of the Centurions with different gear and stuff.
Absolutely.
I really feel like, unless there are legal issues with like maybe ownership over the properties, I cannot imagine why some of these toy lines have not been, at least, I don't know, approached, put out there. It's weird. There's a lot of potential here.
See, and then my only fear is that either they'll get re-released in the scale that they were in, or they'll come out in a 6-inch scale.
Well, see, the Herculoids did have an action figure line, and they're ridiculously expensive on the secondary market, but they didn't sell well when they were released, and I think that's why. I think that's what every property Hanna-Barbera has that they've tried to put out, and they try to make them look just like the cartoons. They're not in our scale. They're not even 6-inch. There's something odd in between, and they just don't sell when they're on the shelves, and then they don't do any more because they're not selling. So why are they going to invest money into something that didn't sell the first time they invested money into it?
I think that's a lot of the reason why you mentioned, things like the stuff that Boss Fight Studio makes. It doesn't have a retail presence. You know what? I think that's just as well, because the big box toy stores wouldn't buy it because it is not tied to a pre-existing property. Because if you look at toy lines nowadays, if you go down to Target, there's very little that isn't some kind of licensed intellectual property. And they would, even though some of the same collectors buying them now off the internet would still buy them, the general public wouldn't, and it would flounder, and its sales would suffer, and that's bad for everybody involved. And I think it makes it much more special that the audience that's looking for it can find it by buying it online, and they don't have to worry about going to the store to find it.
See, this is my whole spiel about why. I mean, there's risks involved, but this is my spiel on why the future of toys, especially in our scale, is crowdfunding, is because this is something that will appeal to a niche market, and it's probably a big enough niche to get a Kickstarter funded.
Well, and the thing is, with crowdfunding, you have a built-in audience, because if people are they're they're supporting these things to get them made, you have a guaranteed audience. You have a guaranteed buying base. Where if you rely on stores and shit, there's no guarantees about anything.
Unless it's licensed intellectual property.
Yeah. I mean, and even then, sometimes you don't, like, they have, like, these weird, last year.
Uh-oh, we're losing JD here. All right, I'm going to pause it here for a second.
Right, dude, I'll give you the login if you just want to use it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, but then we can't both log in on the same login.
No, you could just create a second account.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, I don't. All right, I never thought about that. Thank you for your logic, because it never occurred to me. Yeah, and I just disconnected because my computer router needs to be replaced. I just went and bought a new one today, but I didn't have any time to hook it up and troubleshoot it after I get it in there. But yeah, we oh god, so much untapped potential for toys that isn't out there, but they'll be. Hi, Emily.
Hi. I thought you were paused, so I'm just gonna back awkwardly out of the room. It's fine. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Howdy.
I'll go get dinner.
All right. All right. Thanks. So yeah, you need a new router.
Yes.
And a computer and some tech savvy to make it all work.
All right, that's a bridge too far, sir.
Right. But yeah, Sean and I were talking about doing Centurion customs. He suggested using magnets for attaching the equipment. I think that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, you can get a tube of them. I can find mine.
Are they the rare earth?
They're the rare earth magnets. These things are super tiny. Yeah. These are what I use to hold the guns on the backs of my Sand Vipers.
Right. I've seen somebody use those previously. I mean, long time ago. Jin Sentomi.
Yeah, he used a lot of them.
Yeah.
I
don't know whatever happened to him. I haven't seen any customs for him for years.
Politics happened to him.
Really?
He alienated a lot of people.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. I was never friends with him or knew anything about him. I just thought he did real good work. But yeah, I didn't know anything about that.
Sean sent me a link to a thing about the Herculoids, and honest to God, I thought maybe if I looked in, maybe I'd remember. Nope. I think it was entirely off my radar when I was a kid.
There was a toy line for it? Because I don't remember the toy line at all.
No.
It was newer. It wasn't a toy line back then. It's from. Give me a second. Herculoid. These came out early 2000s.
Okay.
Yeah, because
they look amazing. They look just like the cartoon.
And Sean has a revolution about the Herculoid figures, but it's going to be a double-edged sword, I'm afraid.
It makes me a little sad. I just was looking to double check, and they actually are in the 4-inch scale, and they are going for crazy amounts of money. There's one seller on eBay right now who has the 3 box sets for $700. But hey, they offer free shipping.
What the fuck? What company made them? Were they like a convention exclusive, or were they just
Toynami?
Toynami. So Japanese.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. So were they just never imported into the U.S.?
No, I actually remember seeing them. I saw them. I remember seeing them one time. Maybe it was a fever dream, but I'm pretty sure I remember seeing them somewhere. But it wasn't like a Toys R Us or something. It was somewhere else.
Oh, so maybe it was just Oh, is it possible that they were imported, but they were for like like diamond distributors or something through like super specialty shops, like comic book shops and stuff?
It was probably something like that. They look
Because
just like the
because
cartoon.
yeah, because I remember DC Comics had their own toy line based on the comics, but yeah, you basically had to go to like comic shops or conventions to get them. So, but looking at that link you sent me, I thought maybe it would jog my memory. Nope, I honestly, I just do not know what the Herculoids were. Everything in those images, I'm like, oh shit, it's got everything to appeal to me. Dragons, rhino, mutant rhinos and stuff. Yeah, it was just never on my radar. Um, um, I did have a Rock Lord when I was a kid. I kind of liked that figure. A friend of mine had he had a Rock Lord. It was a different Rock Lord. I don't know how many there were, but yeah, we played with those a
I
lot.
think, maybe.
Huh?
Like half a dozen, I think.
Yeah, I don't.
Very
Yeah,
many.
because I had a gray one, and I think he had a blue one. I do not remember the characters. I have no idea. I remember the toy. I remember it was kind of cool. But I
We don't knock that up.
yeah, he had a couple of the Visionary figures. I didn't have any of them. Those fascinated me because they were GI Joe style figures with GI Joe style articulation, but they were like they were like 5 inches tall. The cops the cops line was the same way. They were Hasbro engineered, Hasbro parts, same articulation as GI Joe, but they were huge.
Yeah.
And
Totally
I had one or two of them that I really liked. Those came out kind of the tail end of my childhood, so buying one of the. I'd have to look.
I had a couple of those. I did not have the one I really wanted, which was Buttons McBoom Boom. I mean, he had the machine gun that popped out of his chest from behind his jacket, and God, I love that guy so much. But yeah, and I did not have I didn't have that figure. I had a couple of them, but yeah, they were just so they were kind of awkward. But yeah, those I do believe there is some kind of legal dispute with ownership for them, but I don't really know what kind of audience they would have, honestly, because in our age with our age group, yeah, we get real nostalgic about these crazy obscure properties from the 80s like that, but they were, if we had not been the age we were at the time that those were out, they were kind of a flash in the pan thing. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I don't know that properties like that would really have too much of a market, if
I
they
think
brought
they were
out.
trying to bring back they were working on bringing back the Visionaries because there was a Visionary in the last GI Joe Comic-Con set.
Yeah, because
They're
IDW,
doing the crossover universe.
yeah, IDW had this big shared universe with Visionaries, GI Joe, Transformers, Action Man, Mask,
Rom.
Yes.
Brom, Space Knight. Yeah, they had a bunch of this stuff, and I think there was something else in there. And yeah, they all shared space on the comic book page, and that box set was basically composed of a couple of the major characters all squashed into the one set. And of course it was a Comic Con exclusive because they probably, even if they'd wanted to do more than that, maybe the big box store said no. But yeah, they did do the modern style Visionaries figure. I want to say it was mostly GI Joe parts, and it was interesting. But that was one of those moments where I looked at it and it just struck me as that was Hasbro saying, hey, we have an excuse to make this. Oh, sorry, we're not making any more of them. So here, take this one and be happy.
Right.
Well, that was like they did that with Matt Tracker.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. It's what pissed me off with the Matt Tracker is like,
Oh, that's right. He was in the 25th line.
Yeah.
They've got
Wait.
the license. Here's this thing that begs for a toy line. G.I. Joe is selling well. The vehicles are selling well. It would have been the perfect opportunity to introduce a 1/18 scale mask line into retail, and it would have sold like crazy, and they didn't do it.
But do you think it really would have? Because I've gone back and forth
No,
on this.
I
I
don't
don't
so.
think it would have, because the price point to make it 1/18 scale, have the transformability. If they sold the figures individually at carded, I think those would sell. If they sold them like they did Tracker, where he had the backpack that was in the colors of the Condor, I think that would sell. But imagine if they made the Rhino. Like the Rhino, the mask Rhino, at the time they put out Matt Tracker, would have cost a fortune.
If
I don't know, because
They would have been going for $50 to $75, even for like basic stuff, like the Thunderhawk.
well, okay.
maybe I don't.
Even if they,
To get what we
Even if-
wanted.
yeah, in order to do them the way the collectors wanted them, with the vehicles that transformed into the other vehicles with 18 scale figure, yeah, it's financially completely unfeasible for a property that, again, in our age range, it was a big deal.
We're
Anybody
talking about
who's-
collectors that complained when 2 packs of Joes were $18 and they were waiting for them to go on sale.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do that
I
with
mean,
now. Yeah,
if
you might be right, but I wanted it so bad that I won't agree with you.
I would have sold my kidney.
if you know what, if they had done some kind of hybrid toy line where they used G.I. Joe parts to create these characters, and they packaged them in a set with maybe Transformers that were repainted in the same colors, even if they didn't transform the same way, and even if the figures could not interact with the vehicle itself, financially, I do think that would have been okay, because they wouldn't have had to sink shitloads of money into it, because it would have been using mostly pre-existing parts. Yes, it would not have it would not have scratched the dream itch that that people were clamoring for a mask line for, but it would have put them out in the public consciousness again, and there would have been people who were way younger than us, or that were buying Transformers. You know what? If nothing else, Transformers collectors probably would have bought them. But yeah, I do think that Matt Tracker, and again, like that visionary, yeah, that's a lot of Hasbro saying, "Hey, we can do this. We can't do more of it." And it's kind of like a cruel joke on collectors, I guess. But there's only so much. There's only so much support that some of these properties can come up with.
Yeah, because I
But
didn't have any visionaries when I was a kid. It didn't appeal to me when I was young. I do have the San Diego Comic-Con set. I've never opened it. If they put a line out, would I get it? I don't know. I mean, because I know that they're doing the Sectars line, and that was out at about the same time. That was about the same scale, and I just can't. As much as I would like to get behind, even for just to help the people out that are doing it. I have no vested interest in it, and don't see myself becoming interested in it. It just, I don't know. I think.
Well, what about these two?
I remember.
What about? I think you'll agree with one, and I think you'll disagree with the other. Johnny Quest
Yes.
and Battle Beast.
Johnny Quest had a line,
But not in our scale. Or if it did, it was the modern. It was the new Johnny Quest. I'm talking like the Frogmen Johnny Quest.
Okay. Yeah, I don't. The only reason I know that Johnny Quest had a line is because I had the Jeep at one point.
I have one of the vehicles from the new when they introduced all the computers and whatnot into Johnny Quest. I didn't know they had like
One
an
of
old style.
yeah,
Probably,
Galoob
it's probably from the same line that
made Galoob made a toy line that was roughly 1/18 scale. And I say roughly because the vehicles were some of the height was right, but the proportions were weird. They were real skinny. But Galoob made a line based on the new cartoon. And when Hasbro bought out Galoob, they recycled. They took one of the submarines from the Johnny Quest line, and they repainted it. They packaged it with a Cobra Moray Trooper in the G.I. Joe versus Cobra toy line back in 2002, and they sold it as a Joe vehicle. Or as a it was a Cobra vehicle. I want to say there was a little boat. I think it was called the Night Landing Craft that came with the shitty cutter. Had a half-ass repaint back in that Real American Hero collection. I want to say I think that may have been from that Johnny Quest line, but
I don't remember that at all. One of the I would like to see that half the stuff already exists for, thanks to the Jurassic Park line, is a 1/18 scale Dino Riders line.
That would be awesome. I'd be all in. You saw the pictures of
Empire Toys.
Yes, what he did to his Brontosaurus.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that blew everything I wanted to do out of the water.
Yeah, I bought one specifically to do something like that, and I don't even know where to start.
Mine is sitting in my daughter's room for the same reason.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic toy. I love it. I did a review on it on my YouTube, on this YouTube channel. It was definitely worth the price, just for how cool it was and how big it is. But yeah, I don't without scratching stuff.
Well, I bought one. Well, I bought one for Blake because he's all about the Jurassic Park dinosaurs. The figures, the Jurassic World figures that came with them, he got a couple of them, but yeah, he didn't care. He just wanted the dinosaurs. He's got the big Brachiosaur. It's awesome. It's impressive. Never in a billion years would I have ever considered buying one to do anything with, because no, it's huge. But yeah, Dino Riders, even if they did some kind of exclusive line where they did recycle the Jurassic Park dinosaurs and they tooled up some accessories for them. I mean, even if it was just like a limited line, I do think that would be awesome.
Yeah, and it seems like that would be something, if somebody thought about it at the time, even a third party could have just made like accessory packs that would fit on the existing figure.
There you go. There's your Kickstarter. That's your $1 million idea, Brian.
Yeah, exactly.
Accessory packs for the existing Jurassic Park dinosaurs.
Yeah,
those would sell.
Yeah, I think they would. I mean, if I could scratch build stuff, I would definitely consider it. But scratch building is not something that I do at all. I've tried it a bunch of times, and it's nah. You need someone like Dion to do it. You get Dion to build stuff like that, because he could scratch. Remember that hover truck that he was working on?
Oh yeah.
You get Dion to scratch build something like that, and yeah, that would be a good Kickstarter. Is yeah, because like I said, half the stuff that you need for that's already exists, and it's the Jurassic World line.
So now I'm thinking of other things.
Yeah.
He-Man.
Yeah, I would be all in on a 1/18 scale He-Man line. Even the weird ones. That I never had He-Man as a kid. I didn't collect it. I didn't like the proportions. I did a Skeletor figure a year or two back using boss fight parts, and it came out nice. And I'm like, I would love to have the rest of the. I tried to piece together a Tila in my mind, but I just couldn't figure out how to do the Cobra hood without.
I had a boatload of Masters of the Universe figures when I was a kid, and
Cobra hood.
Oh yeah, what is that?
It's a staff that came with Cobra Commander figure.
Is that a Sigma 6?
from the
No.
Retaliation.
Yep.
Yeah, it was the first wave of the Retaliation figures.
How do I not have that?
Send me your address and I'll send you one because I got a bunch of them lying around.
All right, I'll do that. Then the rest of it's just boss fight parts.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. Thanks.
Yeah,
Now I'm gonna have to make one too.
I had a bunch of Masters of the Universe characters. My very favorite thing about it, again, the characters. They had some whacked out, way out there characters. Love the shit out of them.
Yeah, I think
some of the
novelty, even the weird one, like I said, I would be all in. Just even the weird ones because they had personality. And it's
that's exactly what fueled my love for it. I mean, yeah, some of them were awesome looking, but that was a big part of it. But some of the characters just struck me and they just, like an 18 scale line, if somebody was to do it, with proper articulation, because Super 7, they've got it's kind of a retro line. They're newly sculpted and whatever, and they're cool. But
it seems like they're coming up with a new or retro line for He-Man every third year. I can't keep up with it anymore because they announced maybe 2 or 3 days ago that there is going to be a new retro line for Masters of the Universe coming out. I think Mattel is doing it, and I haven't seen a release date or a price point on anything yet.
Well, they also have been talking about a movie for the last 25 years.
Yeah.
Well,
there is a new
Masters of the Universe property
soon.
I'll believe it when I see
it.
In the theater.
Masters of the Universe is like Transformers. No matter what, there's always an audience for it. Even if, I guess it's different because no matter how old you are, like even kids to adults, there's something in the Transformers line for everybody. But
absolutely.
Masters of the Universe has an enduring appeal that cannot be stopped, which is why when Hasbro or Mattel had that, I think they were 7 or 8 inches tall. They had the Masters of the Universe Classics line. They were ridiculously expensive. And they were online exclusives. In fact, I think you had to be part of.
They were the club. They were the Mattel club. A lot of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was a fan club, and that
Marcus
was huge. Those figures, I think they were like $30 each. It didn't matter. People bought them like crazy. They sold out all the time, and
people were buying cases of
basically. Not only did they make new updates of, it's got to be nearly every character that was available between the He-Man and She-Ra lines in the vintage toy line, they also made a ton of characters that were they were figures that were unmade prototypes in the original toy line. They got releases in Masters of the Universe Classics. The Filmation color schemed, because a lot of times what you saw on the screen differed a lot, especially color-wise in the line. But they got a bunch of animation colored figures. They had characters based on the comic books for Masters of the Universe that never had toys before, but they all got. And like I said, they were like $30 each. The exclusives, the deluxe things were even more than that. The audience was there. They went nuts for it. And I have to imagine that if they did again, boss fight style figure line for Masters, oh yeah, the audience would be there. They'd buy the hell out of it.
I'm going to play devil's advocate on that one because we're the ones bitching about stuff being out of the scale that we're used to and the scale that we collect. And I don't want these new figures in this new scale. I'm going to play devil's advocate and say I think there's going to be a significant portion of that population that is going to do that. They're going to say that Masters of the Universe does not belong in a 4-inch scale.
And they'd never buy them.
Yeah.
Their collectors don't want our scale at all. And that's who would be buying it, who their target audience is.
Yeah.
They would never.
No, you're right, because they do. They want the 5-inch vintage sized figures that are kind of vintagey, or they want the bigger ones, and that's fine. But damn it, I want Beastman and Hordak in an 18th scale line. Damn it, I just want them.
So here's another one that did have a release in 1/18th, but it was, and I thought of it when we brought up the Mattel Club. The Mattel Club did a 1/18th scale Voltron with the lions and the drivers. They were ridiculously expensive. You had to be a part of the club or you were paying ridiculous aftermarket prices. I would like to see those released at a consumer level, a mass market level.
They did one a couple years ago that was at retail.
But they did the line for...
It was based on the Netflix.
It was just
series.
It was on the new series. I've seen some of those figures. They're great, but they didn't have lions in the 1/18th scale.
Wait, yeah, they did.
They did.
Wait, did they? For the new Voltron?
Yeah.
There were lions.
Yeah.
Really? There were lions, but
I remember.
Now I gotta look.
They didn't have the pilots. Yeah, they did not. They didn't make the pilots. They only made the lions.
Yeah.
Now we may be talking about two different iterations, but yeah, because I would always see them at Target because they were on the shelves. They were on the pegs directly next to the Transformers. And yeah, because I remember I'd always see the green lion hanging there when all the other lions were, I guess, sold out. But yeah, they didn't make the pilots.
Did they?
Yeah.
Did they hold pilots though?
Mm-mm.
See, and that's
No,
I think that's what stopped me from getting them because I figured I did the math and it was going to cost me well over $100 to get all 5 of them. And I actually have a buddy of mine gave me one of the old Voltron. I have the yellow line. It's not complete. It's missing a bunch of stuff, and it's beat up as hell, but it's still pretty cool because it's the die-cast metal one. But I think that's what stopped me is because I wanted the Voltron. I wanted the Lions to be able to hold the pilots. The Lions were cool. The Voltron looked pretty cool when you got it all put together, but to me, the fact that they held figures was the selling point to me. I didn't have any as a kid. I would have liked to have them, but that was what I was like, oh, that'd be perfect for my G.I. Joe guys. I'm going to tag on to that Robotech, a new Robotech line in 1/18 scale.
The new Robotech just did the figures in 1/18 scale, but I would love to see the vehicles.
I want to see a Valkyrie that transforms.
Yeah, I'm with you.
In 1/18 scale. I saw somebody had custom built one from scratch. I mean, this thing is fucking huge. It might even be 1/12 scale. I'll have to see if I can find the pictures of it and I'll put it up when I find it. But yeah, somebody custom built a Valkyrie that transforms. It's either 1/18 scale or 1/12 scale. And it is amazing. It's one of the most beautiful customs I've ever seen in my life.
That's nuts. when I was a kid, I had one. I had one RoboCop figure. I remember seeing a bunch of them in the store. I had one of them. I had Rick Hunter. That was it. I did not have the Valkyries. I wanted them. Did not have them. Also, did not have Skyfire, who was a repaint of the Veritech Valkyrie in the Transformers line. Like he was ported directly from the Takara Macross line into the U.S., repainted as Autobot, as an Autobot, and every version of them that's come out since is not a Valkyrie because of legal reasons. But
Yeah, that's right.
I had a Rick Hunter figure.
I remember.
Yeah, I had a, and then
I remember.
yeah, when they were doing those.
Yeah, when they did the Jetfire.
Yeah. Yeah, because they took the Sky Striker, they tooled up the boosters for the top of it, and they made it part of that for a couple of years when they were doing the Comic-Con exclusives with the crossovers with the Joes in the box, and
it's right here.
Yeah, they. That's actually the. Oh, that's the Macross. Oh yeah, sure enough. See, that would.
There you go.
But yes. Oh yeah, shit! Look at that. Yeah, I wanted that set, but at the time I couldn't afford it. But I wanted that. But the figures that were included with it were great, but it made me really wish that one of the Joes had been repainted as Rick Hunter. I mean, again.
I have one of the old Valkyries somewhere. It's not complete. It's missed in the booster section and most of the missiles, but I have one somewhere.
Well, I was at Target yesterday or the other day, and I don't know what scale it was, but they have Gundam figures on the shelves, and I kept looking at that, and I just kept thinking, like I said, I don't know what scale it was, but I just kept thinking that it's possible that my Joes might need a Gundam to run around in the battle with them. But, yeah, I don't know.
If I got, I don't know. I know I have one, but I don't know where it went.
Everybody's gone.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it's at. I can't find it. Oh, running out of time. We got 10 minutes. That's all right. We lost JD again. Yeah, I thought I had one, but I don't know where it went. So I hate that, not being able to find stuff. But yeah, a 1/18th scale Robotech line would be fantastic. I can't find that Valkyrie. I'm pretty sure I can't imagine it would have thrown it away, but I don't know where it's at. I would see another and more decent 1/18th scale Batman line. The one that came out a few years ago was fantastic. The articulation wasn't half bad. The figures were kind of a little maybe not sculpted as well as they could have been. It was really impressive to see a 1/18th scale line from Mattel, who is historically not ever vested anything in a 1/18th scale line. For what they were decent figures. And Hiya Toys is making some Batman figures, but I would like to see like a deep Batman, like into the rogues galleries.
That would be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm always up for buying more Joker figures. So, yeah, they should do that.
In fact, I'm not the biggest DC fan, but I'd like to see a decent 1/18th scale DC line. and hell, I'd like to see a decent 1/18 scale Marvel line come back too. So, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. Still there, JD?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, yeah, well, again, I don't know. I mean, of course, I'd buy a Superman, but man, I'd love it. They made a bunch of his villains. But I'm always up for buying Jokers and an 18 scale, or 1/18 scale Lex Luthor. Yes, in the armor, yes.
Yeah.
But
when I was somebody, I've seen a couple. You were talking about He-Man. We were talking about He-Man a minute ago. There's a few people that have done decent 1/18 scale He-Man customs.
I've done modernized He-Man, but nothing like the original stuff. I've done Skeletor and Trapjaw and Webstore, but they're like modern military style.
Okay. Yeah, no, I've seen some like vintage, like, but I don't know. I'm torn on that because you've got my attention with the modern military, because that's like my favorite thing.
Yeah.
So.
I'm just thinking to myself, have you posted those? I don't remember.
I won awards for Trapjaw.
I don't remember seeing those.
I can post them. I'll send you pics again. But yeah, I did Skeletor with Panther. It's a boss fight upper, Marauder lower.
Yeah, post them to the post them on the general Geekery Facebook group that nobody uses, and I'm fine with that. But yeah, put them up there, because if I saw them when you posted, I do not remember them, and now I'm very curious about them.
See, I can't remember if I remember seeing them either. I think I remember seeing that you were working on some, but I don't remember ever seeing them get done.
Yeah, I don't remember, but yeah, I love the idea of modern military Trapjaw. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's got my attention for sure.
Trapjaw was a little less modern military and a little more just craziness that I created. It's the figure I've used the most parts from different lines to create. So he's got parts from, I think, 12 or 13 different toy lines.
Nice. I think my most is 15, but I couldn't tell you what it was because I don't remember.
Now I want to see modern military style version Too Bad. Yeah, dual heads, half purple, half blue. Love the shit out of that figure when I was a kid. He's kind of an overlooked character at this point, but yeah, but I can't think of a good way to even customize a two-headed figure like that. That's craziness.
Somebody did one of two of the boss fight orcs. They did that. They sliced them in the middle somehow and put them together so it was two-headed.
There's somebody did it with 3 with Zartan. There's an old Zartan custom floating around that's like three chests put together.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing. The paint job on it is fantastic. It's old. I mean, it's been around for a long time. I don't remember who did it, but yeah, they grafted like 3 torsos together.
All right.
That's some ambitious shit right there.
I'm actually on Joe Customs right now because it's easier to find my customs on there than on my own computer sometimes.
That's what I like my Facebook page for. It's the only place that it doesn't have all my customs, but it's it has the most of them.
Yeah, my Facebook does too. I just didn't even think of going to my Facebook.
I stopped using my DeviantArt account a couple of years ago. Just got a pain in the ass to update it.
I never had a DeviantArt.
It used to be really good back in the day because they like screened what people put up. So I mean, it had to be decent art to go up. But then they stopped doing that, and then it was high school kids drawing on lined paper, and it just got annoying.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like fun.
No.
All right, I'm trying to get these pictures so I can send them to you guys.
Yeah, put them in the general Geekery Facebook group.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Cool. Take a look at that. You got anything else, JD?
Did we lose them?
Nope, because I keep going back to making custom shield agents that I hadn't considered. Should have. I don't know how they didn't occur to me before this, but hey, I'm glad we had this conversation. Yeah, because so far, let's see, I got to do both Nick Fury, I got to do Coulson, I got to do Porter Vane, and that's just a start. But kind of wanted to do the contested too, but yeah.
I think I've got an extra Coulson head if you want it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was because I did a modern style Coulson custom years ago. It was kind of he used a bunch of Joe parts. Yeah, he was like a crossover. He used a custom sculpt torso that was cast from something that Viper made. And yeah, but now I kind of want to make a proper O-ring version of Coulson because for a Marvel character that was created solely for the movies, and in the first Iron Man movie, he's really just credited as Shield agent. Clark Gregg said he almost didn't take the role because he thought the part was so small that he was absolutely certain that he was going to end up in the deleted scenes that nobody was actually going to see. So he almost didn't do it. And I was listening to an interview with this a couple months ago, and he said his wife told him, "Well, you always read comic books. Why wouldn't you do it, even if they do cut you out?" And then he did it, and he was a big hit, and they kept bringing him back for all the movies. And he was, I think he said he was halfway through filming. He was halfway through filming Iron Man 2, and he asked them what was supposed to be in New Mexico, and the producer pulled him aside and said, "Oh, what? Somebody told you that you're gonna have a substantial part in the Thor movie?" And he got all excited. But Coulson, I love that character. In fact, so many people love that character that they retroactively put him into the Marvel comic books.
Yeah,
but
here it is. I found
love
it.
that. I'll kick your ass. Yeah, I'll take it. Because, yeah, I do. I want to make. Yeah, I gotta make some Shield agent customs now. Ooh. And I can do some of the characters from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show because, holy shit, Melinda May still does not have an action figure, even in the Marvel Legends line. What the fuck?
I still think that's probably one of my top moments of customizing is I did a Clark Gregg custom Agent of
And got him the autograph fit. I'm so
yeah, got it autographed too at the convention. And
yeah, you met Clark Gregg. I hate you. So I'm just saying, hate you so much.
He looked at it and he says, where did you get this? And I said, I made it. He says, okay, well, that's why I haven't seen it before.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I'm a Clark Gregg fan long before he was ever Coulson. So seen him in a bunch of stuff, but yeah, now I need an O-ring Coulson figure. So wow, I gotta go looking through the parts again. So.
All right, I'll stick the head in. I haven't mailed your box out yet, so I was going to do that tomorrow. I'll stick that head in there for you.
All right. See, it was divine intervention. That's why you haven't mailed it yet. But
yeah, and I'll see. I'm pretty sure I have another Nick Fury head. I'll have to look, but I'm pretty sure I have one somewhere.
I'll take that. But no, you know what? I want to say, Sean, thanks for joining us on this episode.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, of course. yeah, I get the feeling we all have a bunch of custom ideas we didn't have before. But yeah, we'll as soon as Brian figures out what the hell he's doing next in life, whether he's going out of the country or not.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll get you back on at some point. But yeah, thanks for joining us here.
Absolutely. It's great to see you again, man.
Good seeing you guys. Thanks for having me on. It was fun.
Be sure
And
check out Sean's work on his Facebook page, which is
SGCaper's Customs.
And I found out today because he linked to his YouTube channel that I didn't know he had a YouTube channel, so subscribe to that. So I'll check that out.
Yep. Sean, send me, PM me a link to your Facebook page, your YouTube channel, and any other social media, and we'll put those in the comments below.
Excellent. Will do.
All right. I think that's about it for this episode of General Geekery. Tune in next time when we will have absolutely no idea what we're doing yet again. And thanks for watching.